The medical professionals agreed that I ought to have slowed down many years ago. But I am still driving. I am 92 years old, and I have never been sick in the 30 years that I have lived. There is not even a cold. And no, it's not because I'm fortunate in any way. Everything was different as a result of 5 habits that transformed everything. There are some of them that are so easy to understand that you could doubt their ability to function. They do, however. I'll explain what I do differently, as well as the reasons why you might want to begin doing it right away. I move my feet first thing in the morning before they even make contact with the floor. Not only is it not stretching, but it is also not exercise. What I refer to as a signal to my body is just that. This is a message that every day we are alive, we breathe, and we move. I've been doing this ever since I was 62 years old. Once upon a time, a medical professional informed me that the first 30 minutes after waking up is when the body begins to age the most rapidly. There is a noticeable increase in the thickness of your blood, the stiffness of your joints, and the fact that your neurological system is still catching up on sleep. Most individuals, however, speed through it. As soon as they get out of bed, they grab their phone and immediately dive headfirst into the pressures of the day. On the contrary, I am the one who I am. I start by lying on my back and taking 3 deep breaths right from the bat. As I slowly rotate my ankles and wrists, I first stretch my fingers and then wriggle my toes. Despite the fact that it takes only a minute and a half, it communicates to every muscle, every tendon, and every joint that you are required. The fact that this seemingly insignificant process causes blood to flow to my limbs, oxygen to reach my brain, and awareness to be brought to my movement may sound ridiculous. Reducing the likelihood of falling, calming my nervous system, and increasing circulation are all benefits of this activity. This assertion is supported by research conducted by the National Institute on Aging. There is a correlation between engaging in modest mobility activities in the morning and elevated levels of energy, mental clarity, and balance throughout the day for older persons. Even so, do you believe that it is too easy? When I was younger, my mornings were very different from what they are now. Up to the age of 60, I would wake up stiff with my legs heavy and my head cloudy. I would bumble my way to the bathroom. My feet didn't wake up in time, and I ended up tripping over my slippers during one of my embarrassing moments. At that point, I became aware. I would have to send a signal to my body in order to prevent it from continuing to push the snooze button. At this point, I do not skip it. It is something that I do before I check the news and before I have my coffee. Additionally, if I forget, my body will remind me of it. The stretch is not what makes the stretch forceful. The habit is to blame. If you have any questions, please get in touch with me by leaving a comment below. Beginning today, it is important to remember to click the subscribe button and activate notifications in order to ensure that you are constantly receiving the most helpful health advice from Senior Health. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. When it comes to rewiring the body, consistency is more important than intensity. Reducing inflammation markers, supporting joint health, and even regulating blood pressure in older persons can be accomplished with constant mobility practice in the morning. According to a study that was published by the Mayo Clinic, there is no fanfare about that. Well, that's scientific. The thing is, here's the thing. Yoga is not anything you require. The use of a mat is not required. You don't even have to get out of bed to proceed with this. It is only necessary to give your muscles a message and wait for 90 seconds. The two of us are still in this together. To answer this question, ask yourself, when was the last time you sincerely greeted your body with a good morning? This is due to the fact that aging does not occur all at once. This is the kind of moment that occurs when everything is calm, early, and forgettable. And it is precisely in those times that you have the opportunity to start over. Every single morning after I move, I drink something that has preserved my health for more than 3 decades and has prevented me from becoming ill. It is not a dietary supplement. It is not a pill at all. This is not some powdered superfood that costs $50 and can be purchased from the internet. Lemon, turmeric, and a dash of black pepper are added to a glass of heated water and served with a glass of water. It's over with, but you shouldn't be fooled by the apparent simplicity. There is a lot of power in this routine. When I wake up in the morning, that is the very first thing that happens to me. Before I eat breakfast, I do this in order to strengthen my immune system, reduce inflammation, and increase my digestion. Let's take it apart, shall we? Vitamin C is a powerful antioxidant that helps support the generation of white blood cells, which are the front line of the immune system. Lemon, fresh lemon juice, and lemon juice both flood the body with vitamin C. There are further benefits associated with vitamin C as stated by the Linus Pauling Institute at Oregon State University. In particular, for people of advanced age, it helps to reduce the length of time it lasts. In addition to this, it stimulates the formation of bile in the liver, which not only makes digestion more efficient, but also helps avoid the accumulation of unwanted substances. Do you ever wonder why digestion becomes slower as you get older? Most of the time, the problem is a lack of stomach acid, and lemon can help correct that. Tulsi, the most potent anti-inflammatory root found in nature, comes next. As we become older, our bodies produce more inflammatory markers which can contribute to chronic diseases, joint pain, and even cognitive loss. Curcumin, which is found in this product, has been shown to reduce these indicators in a number of studies that have been reviewed by experts in the field. Curcumin supplementation was found to increase immunological function in elderly persons and reduce oxidative stress, according to a study that was published in the journal Progress in Pharmacology. Now, however, here is the catch. There is more to black pepper than just its flavor. The activator is this thing. It is comprised of a substance known as piperine, which has the ability to enhance the absorption of curcumin by as much as 2,000%. In the absence of it, turmeric is only marginally absorbed into the bloodstream. These 3 components, when combined, constitute what I refer to as my sparkling glass. Putting it together takes a little less than 5 minutes. A cup of water should be heated until it is just warm enough to drink comfortably, but not so hot that it boils. Add a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, a bit of black pepper, and a half lemon that has been squeezed into the mixture. Stir, take a few sips, and then let it do its thing. It's not because I read about it on the internet. Rather, I've been drinking this beverage almost every morning for the past 3 decades because I've noticed a difference in my body. My sinuses would become infected twice a year. My joints would hurt during the winter, and I would constantly feel lethargic after eating breakfast. It took me 2 weeks to notice an improvement in my digestion after I started this habit. I didn't have any bloating. There was a loosening in my joints. Absolutely nothing else had been altered by me. When I looked back a few months later, I discovered that it had been almost a year since I had been sick. It has been 30 years since that time, and I have continued to do it ever since. Do I continue to be at risk of contracting viruses, although it is true my body is no longer able to provide them with the red carpet treatment? In addition to being awake and attentive, it is also ready. The golden goblet that you are holding is more than just a beverage. It is a signal in the same way that the movement routine does. It communicates to my body that we are going to be on offense today. Neither costly supplements nor complicated processes are required for you to succeed. You require a few simple routines that are maintained throughout time and that say, "I care about you." It is therefore recommended that you pour yourself something golden the next day before the bread pops or the eggs shatter. Additionally, keep in mind that you are not merely consuming a beverage. Rather, you are making a proclamation as you take a sip. I make the decision to prioritize my health not by happenstance but by choice. I don't walk for the sake of getting healthy. Rather, I walk to heal. My anti-inflammatory walk lasts for 15 minutes and I do it every day regardless of whether it is raining or shining. Simply move your body and focus on your breathing. No headphones or phone. People tend to underestimate the benefits of walking as if it were the backup plan. They consider it to be something that you do in the event that you are unable to run. At the age of 92, however, I can assure you that it is the foundation. I used to go for a jog when I was in my 60s because I believed that to maintain my youthful appearance, I needed to work up a sweat. Then I read a research that completely altered the course of my life. Walking, even just walking, has been shown to lower inflammation throughout the body, manage blood sugar levels, improve memory, and even cut the chance of death by as much as 39%. That was the moment when I decided to stop pursuing sweat and instead put my focus on rhythm. When you walk, you are not only moving your body ahead, you are also moving everything else back into place for you to move. Your joints, your lymphatic system, your neurological system, and even your thoughts are all included in this category. I do it every day regardless of the circumstances, and I don't walk too far. This is the most important thing. Despite the fact that it is sometimes only a few blocks away, I never fail to remember it. It is not because I am disciplined, but rather because I have witnessed the consequences of not being disciplined. In addition to my joints hurting, my mind becoming hazy, and my stomach slowing down, I get stiff. My shoulders roll back. My knees remain flexible and my mood improves when I walk. However, when I walk, I am a machine. And when I get back, I have the impression that I have been completely reprogrammed. There are scientific explanations for this. Walking for just 20 minutes was shown to reduce levels of C-reactive protein, which is a measure of inflammation in older persons according to a study that was published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine of the United Kingdom. Another study conducted at Stanford University demonstrated that walking is superior to any other seated activity in terms of its ability to enhance creativity and mental clarity. But do you want to know what it was that actually convinced me? It was approximately 25 years ago when I decided to forego my walk because I was too busy. Despite my assurances that I will do it at a later time, the day slipped away from me, and for the first time in years I felt elderly for the first time. I did not feel fatigued or sore. I simply felt old. My lungs seemed to have forgotten how to stretch, and it seemed as though the joints were not mine. After that, I realized that walking was not a choice, but rather a necessary form of treatment. Currently, I consider my daily stroll to be a prescription medication. I put on shoes that should provide adequate support. To begin, I am slow, inhaling for 4 seconds and exhaling for 6 seconds. I concentrate on my breathing. When I want to maintain an open posture, I softly wave my arms upward. In addition, here is something that you might not anticipate. My smile is not because I am pleased, but rather because it is something that makes me joyful while I am walking. Your vagus nerve, which is a powerful portion of the neurological system that governs inflammation, heart rate, and even digestion, is activated when you smile, which is a relatively quiet action. According to the findings of a study conducted in the field of psychosomatic medicine, smiling, particularly when moving, boosts the stress-relieving effects of getting some exercise. As a result, I make an effort to smile, breathe, and walk for 15 minutes every day. And this has provided me with decades of strength. Walking is a great way to get energy, and it doesn't even require you to have expensive gear or beautiful weather. Walking provides you energy. Your body was designed to move, and each stride demonstrates that I am still able to do so. Therefore, if you have been experiencing feelings of being trapped, tired, or foggy, you should not wait for motivation. Put on your shoes, open the door, and tell your body that it is time to start over so that you can experience the joy that comes from moving. Over the course of more than 3 decades, there is one vitamin that I have never skipped. It is not a vitamin at all. It's not a mineral that works miracles. Protein is something that constitutes a lot more fundamental component. I was under the impression that I was eating healthily when I was 60 years old. In spite of the fact that I was eating fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and even the occasional multivitamin, I was still losing strength. By the middle of the morning, my energy had subsided. I started forgetting stuff, including names, where I had left my keys, and even whether or not I had eaten lunch. I was completely lost. When I asked my doctor about it, he told me that it was not age, but rather that you were not receiving enough protein in your diet. It has been discovered that around the age of 60, your body becomes less effective in absorbing and utilizing protein. When this occurs, I make a total adjustment to my breakfast since it indicates that you require more, not less, in order to keep your muscles, memory, immune system, and healing processes intact. I started eating what I refer to as the brain and body breakfast instead of the traditional breakfast foods of bread or cereal. The recipe is straightforward. All you need is 1 hard-boiled egg, 1 cup of Greek yogurt, a handful of walnuts, and a few blueberries. Including anti-inflammatory agents, healthy fats, and antioxidants that are beneficial to the brain. This totals more than 25 grams of high-quality protein. The fact that it not only satisfies me, but also gives me energy is the reason why it is so important. It's not just bodybuilders who need to consume protein. In the case of immune cells, which are literally constructed from amino acids, this is useful. These enzymes are responsible for repairing tissue. It's for the neurotransmitters that maintain your brain functioning at its peak. According to the findings of a study that was published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, older persons who take 25 to 30 grams of protein every meal have superior muscle mass, experience fewer hospitalizations, and even live longer. According to the findings of yet another study conducted by Tufts University, older citizens who consumed a greater quantity of protein had more robust immune responses to both pathogens and immunizations. It is not enough to simply possess strength. One must also possess resilience. However, not all proteins are manufactured in the same way. This is the reason why I concentrate on complete proteins, which are proteins that contain all 9 of the essential amino acids. Eggs, you have a perfect score. Greek yogurt features a comprehensive protein profile in addition to calcium and probiotics. Walnuts, which are not complete, are exceptionally rich in omega-3 fatty acids and anti-inflammatory compounds. Blueberries are the antioxidant substances that are responsible for bringing everything together. I don't just feel full after eating this breakfast. It also makes me feel absolutely unshakable. In addition, here is something that I did not anticipate. My blood sugar level returned to normal. When I was younger, I would fall asleep at 11 in the morning. Now I go through the morning like I'm 40 again. It makes no difference at all whether I have appointments, meetings, or long drives to attend. My sharpness and steadiness are due to the fact that I began with the most important thing. In addition, it is not necessary for it to be very complicated. When I feel like it, I'll switch things up. Flax seeds and cottage cheese, A tiny piece of grilled chicken and sprouted toast are the ingredients for this dish. If I'm in the mood for something more sophisticated, even a lentil scramble. On the other hand, the rule remains the same. You should never be without protein, especially while you are eating breakfast. For the rest of the day, your body will make a decision about how it will function at that same time. Do you think it would be appropriate to use fumes as fuel for a vehicle? Why then do we continue to do this to herself? Not only is a breakfast that is high in protein a luxury, but it is also a need, one that you can begin tomorrow regardless of your age or your history, regardless of all of these things. How you feed your body now is more important than how old you are. Since your body does not care about your age, as far as I can remember, no medical professional has ever told me that your mind becomes ill before your body takes it. You have to begin there if you want to maintain your youth so that you can continue to be young. A practice that I refer to as mental tuning is something that I perform each and every morning before I chat with anyone or even check the weather. What you are experiencing is not meditation, nor is it therapy. It is simply this. 3 minutes are spent sitting still, during which time I visualize the kind of day I would like to have. The traffic, the errands, and the expenses are all things that I cannot even begin to imagine. I picture myself feeling peaceful, strong, steady, and useful. This is how I want to feel. When I think about myself in that state, I imagine myself driving with self-assurance, having a clear voice in conversation, and being at ease with whatever the day brings. Although it may appear to be insignificant, this is the most significant thing that I do. Your brain is unable to differentiate between something that you vividly envision and something that actually occurs. This is something you should be aware of. That is not a quote meant to inspire people. Rather, it is a part of neurobiology. Dr. Joe Dispenza and other researchers at Harvard University have demonstrated using functional magnetic resonance imaging fMRI scans that when individuals vividly visualize engaging in a certain activity, the same regions of the brain fire as if they were actually engaging in that activity. This will over time cause your nervous system to undergo a rewiring. You can train your body to be calm, focused, and sharp before you ever leave the house. In other words, you can train your body to be smart. What is the significance of this irrespective of whether it is pathogens or heredity? Prolonged stress is the most significant factor in the destruction of the immune system. It causes an increase in cortisol, which is harmful to brain cells, reduces immunity, and even causes muscle to be stripped away. In addition, we as seniors carry stress in a different way. The manifestations of this condition include feelings of disorientation and exhaustion, as well as illness that appears out of nowhere. Everything changes, however, when you put in the effort to tune your mind for 3 minutes every morning. I want to share a story with you. There was a friend of mine who was the same age and had the same medical history as me. However, he was constantly agitated about the news, politics, and money. Throughout his life, he was always in a state of either fight or flight. After that, he suddenly passed out, citing a cardiac condition with no prior warning. Even though he made a full recovery, things were never the same again. "What is it about you that you never seem to be shaken?" he questioned me. "Do you ever find yourself worrying?" Additionally, I informed him that anxiety is a thief. In addition, I made sure to lock the door every morning. At the beginning there is intention, and at the end there is resilience. The most exciting portion is about to end. Once you have trained your mind to be motionless, your body will follow suit automatically. Your blood pressure drops, your immune cells become more active, your memory will get sharper, and you will even be able to digest meals more effectively. Researchers at the University of Wisconsin-Madison conducted a study in 2016 that found that persons over the age of 65 who engaged in mental rehearsal for just 5 minutes per day saw significant reductions in anxiety, improvements in focus, and enhancements in immunological response. There was a prolonged effect of the results. To answer your question, yes, I do walk, I consume protein, and I drink my turmeric tonic. Your thoughts have an effect on your hormones, and your hormones have an effect on your health. Without this, however, none of this would matter what you do. You don't have to be a guru or a monk to be successful. Candles or mantras are not required in this situation. Just sit there and imagine yourself being strong and joyful. Imagine you are behind the wheel driving at the age of 92. Smiling at the traffic and going through life without ever getting sick. Over the course of time, you will become aware of something peculiar, and it will eventually become actual. It was not luck. It was not heredity. And it was not some secret that I had kept concealed for decades. Now you know this. There were 5 straightforward decisions that were made on a daily basis and regularly. My body was rewired by 5 simple habits that I adopted and had the potential to perhaps save my life. The fact of the matter is that you do not need to be 92 years old to begin. All you need to do is get started. The movement that occurs in the morning, the golden glass, the therapeutic stroll, the breakfast that builds, and the mind that guides the body are all necessary components. In spite of their diminutive size, they are extremely powerful due to the fact that health doesn't go in a second. The things that we do not pay attention to are where it disappears. And it comes back in the same way. When making quiet decisions that help you regain your strength step by step, bite by bite, and thought by thought each and every time. In the event that you are still pondering whether or not it is too late, allow me to remind you. You have not left this place. You still have the ability to do so, and you are already on your way. But I have something else to tell you that I haven't mentioned yet. A further secret that I have not divulged is as follows. That is the thing that I do each and every night. Period. Something that helps my body restore itself when I sleep, after the routines, after the meals, after the walking, and after the thinking that I do. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.